say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Keep it PG, you know, because there'll be kids watching this, like. God almighty, like.
I'm going to be honest, you caught me off guard with that one.
Do you want to stop and Google it here now?
Yeah.
They're under that much more pressure. That was Kieran, he's jealous he's not on camera.
Editors, if you want, just fill in all my holes so it's nice, level all the way across. Greatly appreciate it.
We both work at KB Custom Ag here in Dalhart, Texas. We're just custom contractor for forage harvest. We both came in from out of town, actually. It's been kind of an interesting run I think we both had. It's been fun, I can tell you that. I started back in 2015, and I was just an equipment operator at the time. I was running swather, bagger, just about anything I could get my hands on at that time, and then gradually worked my way up to the harvester and just actually kind of became a manager at that point, and then it just gradually increased from there.
Yeah, I came on. I mean, the first year I was here, I did a little bit of chopping. Then I was brought on more as a crew leader there, and then the previous operation manager moved on to another opportunity. And at that time, Blake and I got to move up as operation manager team.
So the title is operations manager for both of us, and that consists of you name it. I mean, it's day to day, month to month. I mean, we look at everything every day, talk to everybody, communicate. Scheduling, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say mainly lining out the crew leaders there, what job they're going to or where they're going to be moving operators, teach crew there, telling the crew leaders who they're getting, and I deal with more of the trucks also.
So who is the actual boss man then? It'd be Kyle Beecham, and I don't know the actual story of it myself. I mean, yes.
He started off with one chopper, I know that. Started off with an old 900 chopper, and then that one, then he got up to two, and yeah, he should be here to tell the whole story, but just grew considerably after that. Right now, they're all Claus 990s, running right around 50 choppers, 12-row corn heads, the 12-foot pickup heads. Spec'd out, we don't have a lot of the bells and whistles on all the choppers, just because there's so many different operators in them. We just keep it more basic. I mean, they have all the comfort and everything, but they don't have the autofill and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, they're spec'd out what they need to get done, but they don't have all the bells and whistles on.
Well, we've always believed that if you can't drive it by yourself, you don't need GPS to drive it either. Yeah, we chose to run 12-row corn heads over 10-row corn heads because 990s have a lot of horsepower. You know, yields have kind of decreased here in the last 5 to 10 years, I'd say, and horsepower keeps going up and yields are going down, so throwing a couple more rows into the machine kind of fulfills its efficiency.
And we can slow down the choppers instead of bouncing across the fields a lot faster, and the trucks, 12 rows, we can just slow those machines and the trucks down a little bit and just keep everything together a little better.
And I believe all contractors across the world, honestly, our number one topic is tons per hour. You know, that's kind of how much feed can we do in less amount of time. More feed, less amount of time, save fuel, so on and so forth.
We try and do 100, 120 acres a day per machine in corn. John Deere and Fendt were our primary tractors. Fendt on the triple mowers and balers, Deere's on some mergers and pack tractors. We did get some claws tractors here. We have some running on triple mowers, and now we got some 8 series that we have on mergers and stackers. So just a little bit of a mix there, but claws and our Fendt and Deere were our main 2 tractors.
Me personally, I like the Fendt tractors quite a bit actually, but we all know what those things cost. They're a little pricey compared to a lot of other tractors, but they are top of the line in my opinion, just from personally running them.
Yeah, no, I mean the Fendts are hard to beat on triple mowers and that, just for the ride and the comfort, but they all have their good and bads.
We haven't tried the Kemper on the claws yet, but we have obviously ran the Kemper on the deer head, and honestly, I didn't mind the header one bit.
No, the
Pickup header or corn header, I thought they actually both performed very well. Adding one with the claws new updated corn heads, I think they've kind of gained ground on the Kemper head itself, so it kind of evenly matches now, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I mean the John Deere corn heads are hard to beat, but the new style claws, it really came a long way.
Currently we're around 50, give or take. So then there's quite a numerous silage trucks. With the hired on guys, I'd say close to 400, I think. Yep. So a lot of moving pieces, I can say that. It takes a lot. So we try to start, early December recruiting for the following year.
About 550
yeah.
H2A plus, I mean that comes from all different countries, Mexico, South African, and Irish, New Zealand.
We've had some
Brazilian,
Lithuanian guys. Right now we got a Scottish guy. I mean, you name it, we'll take them from any part of the world.
and then we have full-time American guys here too. So yeah, with the whole crew, I bet it's 600, 650 with all the office people and everything else and mechanics full-time. And I think, I mean, honestly, it takes pretty much every nationality to make this company go around. Yeah, like he said, without the truck drivers, we can't chop, but without the chopper guys, the truck drivers don't have a job. So it's a nice even flow with all different nationalities to go here, and they all seem to get along, and they all know they're here to get a job done, and they actually all work pretty well together.
You know, that's one of the toughest jobs I think we have. I mean, I've rode in a truck multiple times, and I don't know how they could do it all day long and bounce around them pivot tracks and the dust and the heat. And there's a lot of respect comes from me from the truck driver side of things, because I personally think that's one of the toughest jobs we have.
And mechanics to keep
Mechanics,
all the trucks going.
yeah.
And equipment, but yeah, mechanics, they put a lot of hard labor in to keep all the equipment and trucks running.
And they take a beating. These trucks, there's some strong trucks out there, and that's one thing, like Scott was speaking about our shop, those guys don't get enough credit. Those are some hard-working guys out there, and it's kind of crazy how many hours they put in just to keep our trucks running. That's one thing we appreciate about them.
Yeah, no, that's when, I mean, we still have some of the first trucks when I got here, and those trucks are still running, so we just keep adding newer trucks and more of them as we're getting them, but we're still running some of our first trucks that we still have running. I mean, we always talk about we got to get more better trucks and trade some in and get rid of them, but we just keep growing that fast. We keep adding, and we try and keep the lower, older trucks here locally, so they're close to the shop. A lot of the newer trucks and better trucks go traveling over the road more.
Some of the first owned trucks KB's ever had is actually on the road right now,
Yeah,
still running.
Truck 2 and I mean everything else.
Trailer 1 still
Yeah.
out there. I mean, the trailers are the same thing. It's kind of crazy. They're still alive and running. You know, I feel like we take pretty good care of our guys. But I think the real main selling point, especially for this younger group of guys, these 20, 21-year-olds, is the experience. I think experience in something this large and at this capacity and this pace is something they'll probably never get to witness again.
You can go from triple mowers to choppers to mergers, swathers, to spreading manure. I mean, we do a little bit of everything. I mean, anyone that needs anything done, we'll figure out a way we do it. The guys get a little bit of a experience of doing multiple things while they're here.
A lot of opportunities to be made here is a good way of putting it. And I mean, like Scott said, just you could be doing one thing one day and then the next you could be doing something else. And I think it keeps an open mind to what you're doing on a daily basis at work. Yeah, we'll bring on guys that never ran them before. You know, we got really experienced guys that have been here for the last 3 to 7 years at this point, and we really do focus on training and trying to train properly and train them our way. And then these guys get hours, and then more hours they get, or seat time I should say, the experience starts gaining pretty quickly. I mean, when you're running 18-hour days, I can't even tell you how many trucks they load in one day. So, a few days of training and then a few days with somebody sitting with you while you're operating, I mean, 1 week of that, you're pretty well trained. I feel that way.
I think some of our best operators are ones that never sat in a chopper seat before till they got here. Then they don't know any other way that anyone else wants to chop. They know our way to chop, and we have a lot of good operators that never ran a chopper before until they got here.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Here's one you prepared earlier. I must say, what is the crack with all the Irish having the girdle piercings in their ears like?
What's that?
That thing there.
That there?
Yeah.
That's for headaches. I got that especially to jump in with you because I knew you were going to do my head in.
or the big bar in the ear, or the bar in the eyebrow. That's just.
I don't really get that.
That's like so 2002 part.
They probably got it in 2002.
Well, that could be true.
Like all the Irish boys over here are like in their 30s and divorced and just come over here to drive and drink. Like
drive and drink, yeah.
That's warm, hey.
It's warm, innit? Especially if you plug and you need to get underneath, your sweat's soon lashing off you quick enough. Like.
Why do you boys have to get out and unblock yourselves?
Oh, obviously, the truck drivers aren't going to do it.
No.
So, you get under the belly pan with the rattlesnakes and everything.
You seen many snakes here, have you?
Oh, the odd one. Boy Will, another chopper, he seen a rattlesnake the other day. It was a monster. But no, not really, to be fair. When you're doing the wheat, you often see them scurrying up the swaths, but...
The only snakes I've seen so far were wearing high heels, so...
Yeah, well, that is very true, to be fair.
Right, before we go any further, I have to ask about this tattoo.
Oh, what?
Because I wasn't going to mention it until you brought it up, but...
Aye, well, one of the things like, I was at a house party and my pals had a tattoo and I was going out with this girl at the time and sure I thought it was a good idea to get it on my leg. It wasn't even done with tattooing, it was done with red ink with a pen.
Huh?
I need to get that erased or get a cross through it with a picture of a jobby or something next to it.
Well, if you'd done it with like pen ink, could you not put Tipex or something over the top of it? It's the same thing.
Well, it's been there a while, I don't know if Tipex would work.
I can't even make it out.
Lottie?
Lottie?
Yeah.
Right, shout out to Lottie then.
No, they call Charlotte, but aye, she's history now anyway.
Oh, right, okay. Is that why you're out here then?
No, I'm just out here, just living the life, I suppose. Living the dream, sorry.
Oh, this is the dream, is it? That's the dream everybody talks about.
Well, maybe living the nightmare chasing the dream, I don't know. Depends really what you think.
So how long are you out here now then?
I came out here on the 14th of May, and then I went home for a month at the middle of July. Work kind of quieted up a wee bit here, and I went home for a month, just worked away at home, and came back out here the 20th of August. I don't know if you know, but like out here on the H2A visas, you don't pay any income tax, so every hour you work, you get paid for it straight in your pocket.
That's it, no tax at all?
Nothing at all.
So you're not even, whenever you get home again, you're not taxed on that?
No, it's very attractive for a lot of people to come out here, work big hours, and get paid a lot of money. You can make a serious amount of money out here, like.
So any major issues with the chopper this year then?
Well...
Apart from raccoons going through, like?
Yeah, when I first came here, I was coming to the end of a pivot and there was a telephone wire, it must be the only telephone wire in Texas. And I clipped the flipper with it and bent the flipper, but it wasn't a big job like, but apart from that, nothing major, touch wood anyway. There's been a bit of a few handlings this year anyway, but we'll not get into that. When you're driving these big machines, a lot can go wrong very fast and you can get injured if you're not on the ball.
So you see whenever you're coming up this stuff here, like it's not exactly just like maze, there's no exact road there. How are you defining where you're going there?
Oh, and that stuff you can kind of see, but most of it you're just trying to go straight and keep the header full. This sorghum, I didn't even know what it was until I came here. It's like maize, but it's not got a cob.
Yeah.
And the stalk's a lot thinner. I don't know what like the nutritional values or whatever it is, but they must be doing something good because a lot of people grow it like.
But sure, if you look at the oil heads and that there, it looks like an oil wheat from home there, like,
it's like grain, almost.
Like, is that some flow stuff coming in there too? Like?
Yeah, it's coming at a fair rate, and we've not got the KPs in here. The two of the other boys, they've got KPs in. They're doing like a kind of test or something. We've just got the grass shoots, so we can march on a wee bit quicker, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you need the KP in for this sort of stuff because you
Well,
have got that thicker stem, like?
I don't really know if you need it. Well, obviously you don't. We've got the grass shoots in, but I don't know if they are. They're doing a trial to see if it works better or what it is. I'm not really sure what.
Yeah, well, I think Dan told me yesterday that this here stuff is dry enough to go because it all goes by your moisture rating.
Right.
But that stuff over there, it must have been damp a bit, and whether they mow it and let it dry a bit on the ground, I don't know.
Yeah, because there's two choppers over there that are picking up the pickup head. The swathers are cutting it in front of them, but the two boys with the KPs in, they're doing it with the corn heads, like. I done wheat when I came here, and I done a bit of alfalfa, but it's just hardship.
Holy, he's just come off there. Just howling. I think he dropped something off the side of that thing too. Better just ring him here. There was something bounced off that tail door sort and them stalks there, just to your right a wee bit there. That yellow sort of stalks.
Oh, it's the thing for adjusting stone.
That'd be nice going through here.
Yeah. Yeah, I done a bit of alfalfa. Grass isn't really a big thing over here, to be fair. Alfalfa, it was complete and utter hardship, just because it's so hot and it just dries up so fast and it just plugs, and it's just complete and utter torture. I plugged it 2 weeks ago with alfalfa, right from the bottom of the belly pan all the way up to the blower, and I was digging it out with a chisel for like an hour. It was absolute mayhem. I'm not a big fan of alfalfa.
Well, you seem well enough rehearsed around these things. Like, did you drive a harvester before?
No,
did you just Google all this last night, or?
No, I've never drove a harvester before. And KB is it's a good opportunity for people that are mad keen to drive a harvester, because they've got like 50 plus choppers, and they will effectively put anyone on them, because they're not going to be able to find 50 operators with experience every year. They'll probably be at home driving choppers. So.
Well, I mean, you're on one, so they must let anybody on.
Well, yeah, that is true. Like, but I could have KD's number on the operator one day. You never know. But no, you do. Once you're on them for a while, you do start to pick up a lot of things. You learn the ins and outs of them. It's good. I like driving the chopper as it's cruisy.
So, what is your farming background, or how did you get into machinery then?
Oh well, I do a bit of everything really. I drive diggers, work with cows and sheep. Drive tractors. I was actually done a bit of acting at one stage as well. I was in the East Kilbride Young Farmers concert. But yeah, driving tractors for ages and stuff. And when I was in New Zealand there in the winter.
Yeah. Well, you go back to New Zealand this year?
I'm going back in the next 3 weeks or so. I'm going down to the South Island and work with Chapman Ag. His boys over here working as well. He's up in Colorado at the moment. I worked with Philip Parry last year. He's just kind of central North Island next to Taupo.
You're really just chasing the sunsets, like?
Exactly. I just can't be bothered being cold anymore. The weather back home's just awful. Scottish summer lasts about 6 hours and that's it. That's you by.
So what's the challenges of coming to America then? As a Scottish person, obviously the heat's a big thing, like.
Well, yeah, and Irish privilege out here as well. You do get.
Oh, is there? Aye.
Sometimes.
It's not even white privilege, it's just Irish privilege.
Yeah. And they do like to take the mick at you for wearing skirts and stuff, but I just say to them, well, you just throw pebbles down a road and get all excited about that, like, so.
For wearing what? Skirts?
A skirt, well, that's what they
call
it.
A kilt, right. Okay, why do you wear a kilt in the harvester, do you?
Well, sometimes. Sometimes.
Jeez, you must be warm.
Well, a lot of people say they struggle to understand me. I don't really know how. Some of the Irish people, you'd think they'd be speaking Arabic or something sometimes.
Well, to be fair, that's why we've got Tom with us. He's sort of translating me and Craig to
Tom
everyone
else.
Yeah. It's starting to take off now, the Pominator.
Yeah.
To be honest, Palm Cruise is my favourite one.
That is a good one right there.
There's no English privilege over here, is there?
Well, there is only one English boy, and that's the Wallen or Chopper.
Yes.
I'm the only Scottish here. I'm doing the nation proud. Well, trying to.
So this is as good as it gets. This is you send your finest man to America to represent you, and this is what you come up with.
Yeah. And I do. I've got Scotland flags back down Dalhart as well. I forgot to bring them up. I could have flew the flags.
I was going to say Braveheart's let himself go with that.
I know, well.
So you came out here and you got on a harvester, and that was that. Did you try your hand at anything else?
No,
or?
I came out here and I was on a harvester for about 3 weeks, and then I asked one of the boys to swap. I wanted a shot at the mowers, because I never ran the belt, what are they called, merchant belts before.
Oh, grippers.
Grippers, aye, that's what I was looking for. And I was going to get a swap with him for a couple of days, but ended up I was on them for about 3 or 4 weeks. And that was good, but see the hardship, like down in Dalhart, having to dig your mower beds out every night because the moisture and the sand, it just turns to concrete. That was awful, like that was just pure hardship. I was driving the John Deere 8R. It's a good going tractor, but it's too long for the mowing, I think. The bonnet's about 50 foot long.
Yes.
And the other tractor I was using was a Fendt 942. Well, I didn't get shot at, but that's what the other boys were mowing. That would be quite a cruisy tractor.
So where's this stuff going today?
Just to that dairy over there. High Plains Dairy it's called. Massive outfit, man. The scale over here of things is just crazy.
Yes.
Like this whole pivot's 500, but only half it's planted in sorghum. So that's 250 we're cutting. That's just one field, and that could be somebody's full cut for the year.
Oh,
like.
I know boys that wouldn't cut that at all.
Well, I know in Ireland you should normally cut about 5 acres, and that's your size.
Pretty much, a bale of hay or something. Throw it in a ring feeder.
Yeah. Just when I got here, I knew it was going to be a big scale, but just when I got here, the sheer scale of things is crazy. Like, the amount of cows some of the dairies milk, the amount of staff they have.
I believe it was showing us this the other day in 130,000 cows.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, where would you even get that amount of cows from?
So have you any advice for any young boys thinking of becoming over?
Do it. If you've got no ties, like if you're young and you're keen to drive a harvester, I'd definitely do it. 100%. Because you do put a lot of hours in. Sometimes you're finishing that late and you're awake the next morning that early, you'd be nearly worth sleeping in the chopper, but sure, a couple of hours in the bed wouldn't go amiss anyway.
Well, when you say you have no ties, like there's no point going out with a girl whose name you have tattooed on your leg, pull the pin on her first and then go.
Well,
get the tattoo, break up with her and then go out to America.
Well, yeah. I went to New Zealand and I was going with her and I came back. It turns out I wasn't going with her when I came back, but one of the things. Her loss, I'd say.
Her loss is right.
Have you got a missus at home?
No, I do not.
No?
No, I have enough store in my life.
A bachelor?
I have a dog. That's all I need. I get home in the evening, I know the smile's genuine. He's not taking half of my house.
One man and my dog.
Pretty much, aye.
Yeah, at least a dog gives you no back chat anyway.
Exactly.
What age are you about 40?
Close enough, eh?
Are you?
I'm the back of a 40-year-old. I'm only 28.
Are you?
Aye. Just had a hard paper round. Talking to boys like you. Some put years on you. I'll be jumping out of here 41. Well, is this sort of work, is this the type of work a 990 was designed for, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely with the wheat anyway, because some of the swaths with the wheat they're huge and it does bunch away at it, and the corn as well. Some of the stuff I was cutting, it was like nearly the height of the cab. Like I said, I don't really know a lot about this sorghum, to be honest, but it chops away, that's no bother. But yeah, 990 would be nearly too big at home, I reckon. But you want a shot here?
Ah, maybe well. You'll have to keep me right in the steer now, for my eyesight's not as good as yours. Oh, that's a bit wise. Oh. I see, I was working with a short spout the other day, that's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That's going to be interesting.
Some of them do get close to you can nearly smell their aftershave. That's down stuff, it's a bugger. The other day we had some amount of handling.
She's feeling that one there, isn't she?
Yeah. It's easier, see if you're going with the grain, it works a lot easier, but if you're going against it, man, it's pure hardship. But other boys are saying these new headers, they work night and day compared to the old ones, but I can't really comment. I don't know anything about the old ones, but they say it's picking up a lot nicer than what it did before anyway. Hey, it did not so bad actually. Not bad for an Irish.
Drive Irish privilege, I'm alright.
Ah, well, that's true.
I get used to this job of driving alright, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's good. See, once you get the hang of it, man, it is good, like.
I think I'll park the cameras, you know.
Yeah.
Bad enough.
Park the cameras up, come make some coin. I was going to say you got the horn for corn, but this isn't even corn.
This isn't even corn.
Corn for sorghum.
Doesn't just have the same ring to it, does it?
No.
You spend a lot more, like I noticed there the other day at the grass, you were spending a lot more time looking at your spout directing, but that's here you're watching where you're going nearly more.
Especially at that alfalfa, see as soon as you bring that flipper down, it'll just block on you, and it's just, It's just hardship.
That spout extension's some job too, like.
It's a good job, like. And then see, sometimes if it's too windy, I just drop the spout down a wee bit.
I stop it going.
Yeah. You need to be careful though, because sometimes they buttons stick. And
Oh, do they?
yeah, and I was adjusting it, and it's stuck, and it nearly landed inside the trailer. I reckon I'd have probably got my visa revoked for that. You know? That's good, man. See, when you've got a good driver, man, it's half the battle.
And is it hard to get good drivers beside you, like?
Oh, you do get the odd mung bean, but 90% of the drivers are decent. Sometimes you forget who's loading them.
Yeah.
Like the chopper's loading them, not them, and they're driving, trying to fill the chopper and all that. But 9 times out of 10, they're good drivers, you know. It's funny though, like, see, especially in wheat, if you got a detection or what, they would come out to try and help you in that. They just start speaking Spanish to you as if you understand them. Like, I've not got a clue what you're saying.
Your boy to me yesterday goes, "Do you know any Spanish?" And I was like, "Gracias."
Yeah, gracias, that's the only thing I know.
It's bound to be a hard enough job too, like, you know, I'd say you probably don't appreciate it until you actually do it for a day, like.
And it's not even that, like, the truck drivers have got a lot of respect for you as well. You often, if you're out off and stop and they come up beside you, they offer you cans of juice or bottles of water or something.
Yes.
Nice of them, like.
So what's the sort of sweet spot for speed in these things, like?
It's not so much speed, it's more engine load that you want to be focusing on. Like, see that there, the percent.
Yeah.
You want to be keeping that, for the maximum output is about 103 to 105. That's when you're really chopping. Any more than that, like, you can send it up to 135, and sometimes it goes round the clock, but all you're doing is losing forward speed and burning more diesel. But it just depends as well, like, if you're with the likes of, if you were to do like a couple flags, you would just cruise along. There's not really a specific speed you want to be chopping at. You just want to be keeping that percentage good.
Aye, I'll maybe just not go home with these boys. I can work
Yeah.
that out, I think.
Got the horn for the chopping now.
It is the ideal job, you know, like.
Yeah.
It's the only problem with chopping is when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But like, from a silage point of view, there's not any other jobs you really want to be doing.
Yeah.
Like,
to be fair, I love mowing as well.
Oh, do you?
Mowing's class, yeah.
What do you prefer, the mowing or the?
Mowing over here's alright, but you're just going round in a circle the whole time. I know it's the same with the chopping, but like in New Zealand, I was mowing like the side of mountains and stuff. It's some of the steepest stuff you've ever seen.
A bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it does test your skill, and like mowing at home as well, like awkward shaped fields and all that, like with the lights over here, it's just always in a circle. But if you go up to Missouri, there's a lot of normal fields up there as well, and same with Colorado. But chopping is a game, like. The one thing I don't like about the chopping is the servicing up at night time. See, blowing it down, the beasties and all that, it's just.
Aye, because you aren't working with like jumpsuits or anything, it's just literally what you're wearing.
Yeah, well, I have got overalls with me, but
Oh,
it's too hot at night. It's still too hot at night time to be wearing that.
So what do you think? Do you think they would hire me for next season?
They do hire some questionable people, like.
Oh, it should be alright then.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
People maybe will say that about me as well, but I've lasted this long, so I can't be half bad.
Well, that's true too. They did take on one Scottish, but I'm assuming that's just for like legal reasons. Like,
I'm going to try and bring a rake of Scottish boys with me next year.
You have to take on so many from one race, do you?
Yeah. Definitely the Irish power over here anyway. Definitely more Irish than
That's because we're the only ones willing to work, you see.
Oh yeah? No, it's because all the contractors back home only chop about 100 acres.
We're doing nothing else, so the Irish boys are they're on the dole the rest of the year.
Drinking pints of Guinness. You've done really well in this interview not to get the header plugged ones.
Aye, both of us.
Yeah.
That's a bit tight to hear.
Oh, that's will test your patience here. Your what's what I'm looking for? Skill. Kind of going with the grade.
Tight.
Oh, you're some man.
Why do you sound so surprised?
Well, you're Irish.
That's in my first rodeo. See, every
If you
single.
make a tidy job, it's satisfying.
Oh, aye, but it's the same as a digger. If you're good on her, that's rewarding. But if you're not good on her, that's a mess.
Would you be good on the levers?
Not too bad. Like I've done nothing but fill dump tillers, like, but I'm not exactly king of the levers either. Like.
You could be king of the chopping before long, like.
Yeah, you go.
You're learning off the best, I'd say.
Oh, you go. Is that as good as it gets?
there's, you know, everyone can run a chopper, and everyone wants to run a chopper, but we do a little bit of sorting out ourselves and sort of fit the people where they can work. And we actually, I mean, we do have some that, you know, just aren't going to work out for us, but I wouldn't say there's a high turnover, at least off the start.
No, I feel like you get going a few weeks, and then you can really divide. In your mind, you could tell who's fit to do what position. And because we've always said each position's a different personality. You have to have a different personality for each position that we have here. I mean, chopper guys, you got to be really able to multitask and see the world at a bigger picture. And then our stacking guys is kind of more of a patient design type method, you know, not slower pace, but more attention to detail, I guess. So it's kind of just a find out these guys' personalities and stick them where I think it suits them best.
From Dalhart here, where we're based, our large is 2 hours south and 2 hours north is our biggest range. But we go down to Dallas, Texas, which is 7 hours away, do some chopping down there, and then we go all the way up to Missouri, and that's 14 hours away, and hit Colorado in there too. So we work pretty much wherever we need to, but our biggest areas are 2 hours south and 2 hours north of Dalhart, Texas.
You know, I'd say we have a method of just quality over quantity, no matter where we're at. You know, our priority one is quality, customer satisfaction. And I can't speak for other contractors by no means, because they all do a pretty good job. But from just speaking for ourselves, I feel like that's our main focus. And I hope that's what's getting us all this work around the country, and hope it stays that way.
And another thing, as these dairies are getting bigger or feedlots getting bigger, you know, there's other big companies out there, but when they don't want 1 or 2 choppers to chop for 50,000 cows, you know, and that's what we can shine to. We can bring in 10, 15 choppers and get the job done.
It kind of goes all over the board. We work for small dairies, small feed yards, all the way up to some of the biggest in the country, honestly.
I mean, yeah, some of our small dairies are 2,500 cows, and there could be some dairies well over 100,000 cows that we work for. And feedlots are about the same way. You can get a small feedlot, you know, 1,000 head, and there's feedlots out here that 110,000 head. So I mean, it's a wide range, and that's why some crews out there will have 1 or 2 choppers on, and some will have 15 choppers on. And it's just that's what keeps the days interesting too. It's never the same every day.
I mean, that's just exactly, as of today, as we're sitting here, we got one chopper crews, and we got 10 chopper crews running at this exact moment. And it is a big variance, but I guess that's kind of the way we like it too, though.
We're definitely large, but I don't want to say if we're the largest around, but we definitely have enough.
Yeah, we're a good size, I'd like to say. Like I said, we're not trying to bash on anybody. We respect everybody out there, but I mean, we have a good amount of machines.
Well, we started all with all Kenworths, white Kenworths, and as we keep getting bigger and bigger, now we have some Peterbilts, we have Western Stars, we have, I guess, a little bit of everything, just because trying to stay pre-emissions, just to keep them running. That's our biggest problem with the trucks, is the DEF on the newer trucks with them. But yeah, we're running, I guess, pretty much every brand probably out there, but like to still stick with the Kenworths. We have a shop here full of mechanics, some H2A mechanics and full-time mechanics. There's and on-road service trucks too on the road going, traveling after with the crews to keep the trucks and equipment going. But trucks, we work hard here from about 4:30 in the morning till midnight. We have a crew here in the shop working on trucks. As they get done at night, they pull them in. If they need serviced or any work done, they get through them at night and work on them. And then over the winter time, as all of our drivers go home, we go through all the trucks through a good maintenance program and try and get them all through the shop and get them ready for springtime again.
We like to keep a good stock of parts just because we do a lot of stuff in-house ourselves. It's faster for us to work on it and get through it a little quicker than having to call a dealership and get them out here. Those guys have a schedule to work with as well. We're not just their only customer. So it's just better for us to rely on ourselves to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, with the parts department and all the data there, we can try and keep track of. We know what parts we're using and how many of them. So we try and keep the parts room stocked with stuff that we need, and that way we can go in there, just get the truck fixed instead of have to order parts. I mean, there are parts that we always have to order, but for the most part, we try and keep stuff in stock.
Well, and that was, you know, just like going back to the topic of the mechanics working late at night when we're done. It's kind of, maybe you don't know something's wrong till you get done and service up and like, oh, we have an issue. Well, can't get a part at 10, 11 o'clock at night from a dealership, so it's really nice to have on hand. I mean, Scott does a lot of talk with the dealership at Claus and the truck parts, really, and I think you got a pretty good relationship with them.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything's through dealers, so yeah, we work with 2 dealers for Claus, and with Deere, I mean, we have a good relationship with a lot of good dealers, so they keep us going. But yeah, all the parts come through dealers. So, and I mean, most of the dealers have a lot of parts that we need to that we don't have. But yeah, we try and keep everything stocked here. One of the guys that work with us has a tractor and cart running right now with us to see what that does. But just the miles that we cover. The feeds keeps getting further and further away from the dairies. As the dairies get bigger, the feed area just keeps coming out. We'll be chopping some corn here, about 100-mile haul. So there's just no way to run tractors and carts. And we do have some close by hauls that we could use tractors and carts, but to run how many tractors and carts you need for 50 choppers, I mean, it's just not feasible unless you have a small crew, and we could run a couple. And I'm not saying that won't ever happen, especially with compaction and no-tills getting bigger around this way. So it might definitely happen sometime, but just with the hauls, how far the hauls are, it just has to be semis.
We get real busy from about the middle of April till nearly the end of June. Then it slows off just a little bit, but then we pick right back up to our current state, and we're going to be busy again till November-ish, probably. We do just about anything to get our hands on, really. We're baling, do a lot of shredding, obviously. I mean, you name it.
Manure
really.
spreading,
manure
baling.
spreading.
Yeah, we don't do any planting or working ground, but any kind of harvest, anything else we can do. And trucks hauling manure. Whenever we're not chopping, trucks are usually busy hauling manure and then stockpiling the field, and then we go through with spreaders and spread it. So, yeah, I mean, any kind of harvesting we usually do.
The main goal is to keep everything moving. I think I told you guys that yesterday. Nothing makes money if it's not moving. That's the goal daily. Yeah, it gets a little wild. I'm sure Scott's wife, as well as my wife, gets annoyed with the phone ringing quite a bit, and traveling and being gone long periods of time it gets really challenging, actually quite often. But we seem to still work it out somehow.
And that's what, I mean, yeah, Blake travels a lot more than I do, out of town, away from his family, so I don't usually mess with that aspect, but I mean, we do work hard for, 2-3 months in the spring and 2-3 months in the fall, but Kyle's really good and the whole company's good. When we're slow, we can go away and spend a vacation with the family, so it's a very family-oriented company, so when we're not chopping, we get to go away and spend some time with the family. And I think both of our wives are very understanding for the job that we do and understand it.
Currently, I feel like in our region here, and even in the Midwest, I don't see any issues really. I mean, this region of the country is very agriculture driven, and a lot of the grain for our country comes through this side of things. Probably a lot of the milk too, I'd say, comes from this region of the country. So I personally don't see any I guess, downfall of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the future of agriculture in this part of like Blake said, in this part of the world is striving. I mean, it's large, it's big, and it's growing. You get back over to the east side, it's a lot of small farmers, and just with the prices they are, small farmers are going to be, I think, driven out of ag eventually. Won't be forever, but I mean, it's just how large these farms are getting. It's gonna change the site of agriculture.
So Tucker, this is a bit different to what you're used to. It is, yeah. I didn't see the road now while we're in the field for a change. Yeah. All the time.
This place is a bit different to Cork now.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The weather, number one. Now we have good weather in Cork too, but this place will just win by a small margin. But yeah, it's a savage country here. Small bit of adjusting, alright, to get used to the heat, but we're managing away, and the air kind is good.
Did you get sick of the rain at home then?
Oh sure, Jesus, yeah, we'd no summer, no nothing. And it is a thing I always said I wanted to do, was come out here, and sure like that, we'll say whenever this episode will come out or whatever, and I was sitting at home, and I didn't go, I'd be kicking myself watching the lads out here, and I'm saying I should have went and all this.
Is that your first year out here, or have you ever done anything like this before?
Yeah, I was in New Zealand twice. I'll go back there now again at the end of the season here now. I'll go to New Zealand for Christmas and New Year's probably, and we'll suss the situation in about getting a visa to come back here.
So you maybe just come straight back here?
Possibility. All right, yeah, I might go home for a month maybe, but the option is open, and I'd have to go to the embassy in Auckland, all right, to sort the visa. That'd be the only stumbling block really, but it wouldn't be a major issue. Like, I think it's around April the wheat starts out here again, so I'll be kind of aiming for that, and we'll be away.
I'd say you were maybe glad to see a wee bit of rain.
Oh jeez, I was delighted, yeah. We were servicing up there last night, and Cabbage ran over. He said, tidy up fast. He said, there's bad rain coming. I was delighted. I'd only stay out in it. But yeah, we had to move over here to this blocked in. It wasn't too bad. But where we were working was the trucks wouldn't work there, to be fair. No, it was a fair mess. Even on the dirt road there, it'd be dangerous have two trucks passing, you know. They'd slip into the dike fast enough, so you have to be wary of that as well. So after you kind of say there's a skunk there, it says there.
Oh, I wonder what that smell was.
I'd say we're after rattling something. Oh man, not good.
That's a strange problem to have.
A skunk. Yeah. The first one I hit, I didn't know what was the smell. The boys after, when they pulled up to service the thing, they told me straight away, you're after hitting a skunk, I didn't know what it was. Yeah. It stays in the machine, like that smell now will be still there tomorrow outside. It'll go from in here now, to be fair. Won't be too bad.
When did you come over then?
Just the start of August there, so I missed. It's kind of a half season I'm here. I missed the wheat. I done the silage at home, and we struck on then. Just I think it was around, the first week of August I came out here, and things were only just getting going. You coming out, like, I had no issue driving one of these coming out, like, but I was a driver. I wasn't an operator. Like, I go home an operator. Yeah. Like, you'll find you'll learn a massive amount here. Like, it's hard to get the chance at home. Even driving combines down or anything like this, like the experience you gain out here is unreal. Yeah, and you can't buy it, you know.
So did you drive many choppers at home at all?
Sure, I do bits. I was mainly up in the big game I was.
Yeah.
Sure, you would fill in a couple of days here and there, or a day here and there, and bits of evenings and things. Nothing massive, like. So I know, like that. I could drive one of them. There was no issue in driving it, but operating it is a different story, then, you know. So even with then I'm after learning as much there in 2 weeks with Dan as you learn in 12 months at home. Do you know what I mean? And different, like dealing with all these different type of crops as well. Like, sure, I'm never going to be cutting this at home.
Yeah. You're at it every day, and there's no one out here hogging harvesters, like, because there would be at home nearly.
Oh, sure, this is it. It's hard to get up, man. Like,
to be a harvester driver at home, you nearly need to be a family member or with the boy that you're working for a real long time.
Yeah. Exactly. You wouldn't want to be coming out here totally green either, like, and just sitting up and trying to figure it out. Like, you're thrown in the deep end fairly quick here. Like, you want to know what you're at too. They're not going to be they won't babysit you here either. Like.
Yeah, do you find the team leader's a great help then?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'd say it wouldn't work without a man on the ground. Even Cabbage there, he'd send up the drone there to see what way the field is and what way what way it is planted and all that. Like, and saves a heap of time, and rather than us trying to figure out what way to bring trucks and things, you know. Yeah. He'd have it, like, we're now, I suppose we're 2/3 of the way across this now. He'll be gone on to the next one now, sussing it out and see what way to bring in trucks and things like that. If the pivot needs to be moved, or, you know, and he'll have it all. He'll have it all sussed for us, and it saves a heap of time. Like, but even moving the compressor and the diesel bowser there, now he'll have them there wherever we're going to finish up and all that kind of stuff, you know.
So his job's basically to make your life a lot easier.
Basically, yeah, but he actually. I'd say he gets a thrill out of making it harder. Like, he'd be trying to make it harder sometimes. But no, he's top man now, to be fair, to have over. Yeah. If something goes wrong there or anything, like, he's straight over, stuck in, going again. There's no issue. Like, if you bust a KP belt or something there, he'd have him there and just whip it on. You're gone again. there's no downtime here really as such, in fairness.
Whenever you came over, have you been with the same crew the whole time?
My first job was actually above here in Plains with Blake.
Yeah.
And I got shipped over then to a place called Hectares, which is only about half an hour away from here, on a smaller crew. And when did I go from there? We finished up, we 4,000 acres there to chop, and we finished up there. Then I went back to Dalhart, chopping maize there for a week, and we got greened out. That's where we are. That's where we're at now. I don't know what the story is after here. So we'll be busy here for, I think we have 6,000 acres here. So
Just a few, like.
yeah, we'll that'll keep us quiet for a while. And
How do they get on with the Cork accent?
struggling sometimes. I'd say on the radio especially. It is when we start talking between ourselves is the trouble.
And this chopper seems to be a bit better spec than the other one I was sat in there yesterday or the day before. She's got the leather seats.
Oh yeah, this came, and it's cool as well. There's a fan. It's an ideal job, yeah. I was actually to the one I have, or what I was on yesterday. There's a KP in that. They're doing chopping some of this with a KP.
Yeah.
She's new this year. I'd say she came new for me, but this probably say she's last year, I'd say. But these came with leather seats, then there's a bust of them there with leather seats, the bust of the older ones. So nice job, no, alright. To be fair, but you can swivel the other ones, you can't swivel this seat, alright. Other than that, I'd say the spec is the same in them.
Have you a pair of cowboy boots bought yet?
I haven't yet. No, I must get around to that. Just the next wet day, you know. It's going to cost me a fortune. I'll have to change all my jeans are straight leg. I'll have to get boot cut jeans. A couple of weeks ago there, we were coming up across the pivot, but it was wet ground, but I had to chop out this side.
Yeah.
It was alien enough. We've gone back to that side. To the natural side to work out the right hand side. It's grand.
Don't be saying too much about that now. I run at home all day.
I know, yeah. But you'll never convert the crowd at home. You can see why fellas do walk off this side. Like, now it makes sense with the truck driver on this side as well, like, obviously.
What's the biggest job you've been on then, or the biggest field you've been in?
A 500 acre pivot. I suppose to be about to go here, I'd say. Kind of 250, I don't know, what's this, 125 I think, is it?
And how many choppers were on that job?
Yeah, at one stage there I'd say there was 14 of them there at one stage. That was Blake's job. I got shipped over to Hectares then after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fairly intense there now. A couple of weeks, but they got through some amount of acre. I think there was 12,000 acres or something they done there in the space of 2 or 3 weeks. It was fair clipping. I better get on to head office and see. I'll split that land there then, will I, or what you want to do? It's all thrown this way.
I'm just going around anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
So splitting it, you'll be happy, or you won't deny you as much, you wouldn't be dealing with it half the time. I know you'll be hitting it from 2 directions, but you're better off going split it. But you've been managing so far, you should get on the finest.
Yeah, no, feel it. Sound like.
There you are, there's a good example of the team leader's job there.
Yeah. Level head.
Second opinion.
So it's his opinion really is the one that matters. Do what I'm told.
So could you see yourself coming back again and doing that role if you got offered it?
I wouldn't do it straight like you would. I'd want next year over me, and then I'd think about it. Alright, but it's definitely a thing I would be interested in. Alright, or to be, yeah, it's definitely a goal. Alright, yeah, I would like the job.
And would you recommend it to everyone then?
Definitely, yeah, but you wouldn't want to be afraid of work and used to kind of handy hours and stuff. There is good hours here, but like if you're at Silage and things at home and you'll be used to being off here, yeah. There's nothing outrageous or anything like, but it's in a holiday camp. You're here to do a job and it gets done.
What advice would you give any boys coming over?
If you want to go, do it. Don't be thinking about it. Just go in and do it. It's not for everyone either, like, you know, that kind of a. But
KB seems to be there are plenty of opportunities.
There is, yeah, and like if you're hungry enough for it, he'll let you at it.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and you're thinking about it, just do it. Like,
oh yeah.
See, if I wasn't at this, I'd love to give it a go.
you can cut out the last of that stuff over there.
No, I'm all right now. I'm all right. I'll give it a miss on the lying down stuff. There's a lot of header watching on this stuff.
Oh, there is, yeah. You'll be tired now in the evening, all right, afterward. But
I'd say you're glad to see your bed.
oh, you would be, yeah. Just, every job has these challenges. I'll have to get out to that thing again. We're getting the steps in and that today.
Yeah.
Come out here and I'll show you what to do, how to pull that out.
We'll go learn them, will we? So what's happening here?
She's after knotting that now. Horse it in over there. You can still smell the skunk. God almighty.
We have our own little system, the way we do things, and I believe most contractors are probably doing the same, similar to what we're doing, because like you said, we're all chopping in circles. So corn season, obviously you're going with the rows. As I showed you guys yesterday, we're going straight across the pivot, and another farm we were going in a circle, and there was pros and cons to both those factors on each end. But yeah, truly, I mean, the system's pretty similar to everybody. There's really no difference in it.
And that's what the chopper guys have to know, which way they're going, and there is no communication between most chopper guys and truck drivers, but if everyone's following our system, everyone's going the right direction. So it's when someone screws up and goes the wrong direction is when bad things happen, when they're not following the order that we do things.
We just don't turn right. As you know, that's how I was explaining to you guys yesterday. Just don't turn right, and we would think we went over it. Over here, truck drivers are driving on the left-hand side, so it makes a lot of sense to load on the right side and turn left just to avoid contact with one another. But really, I mean, operator-wise, the system is just count. Count your rows. I mean, from pickup work to corn season, all you gotta do is be able to count, and it's easy enough. And if everybody can count to 12, then it should work out pretty good. You know, there at the beginning when the Irish guys started coming over, I thought they were gonna have a challenge learning it. But really, now I don't even.
No, I mean it's
pretty easy.
If you see them messing up, you make sure you tell them over the two-way, and they seem to get it straightened out. I mean, it's like I said, it's not rocket science, but as long as they follow what we want, it's all good. My biggest thing is these machines cost X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars to take care of it like it's your own, or take care of it like you would take care of your house or your car. All of our operators usually get pickup trucks to share to go to the job site or to go to Walmart or wherever you need to go, and take care of those also. I mean, that's my biggest pet peeve, I think, for some of these operators. Just don't care. And that's, good operators, but caring about your machine is a huge part.
I mean, respect, attitude. You want to kind of respect management, respect the guy giving the order, I guess. That's back to management, but yes, I mean, Scott hit the main point. Like, it's more about caring. I mean, that's a word we throw around a lot. Just care about it. Care about what you're doing. Care about waking up in the morning, being on time. Just be here and care about what we're doing. So we call them crew leaders, and we had 15 roughly?
Yeah.
15 total crew leaders. And they're there to help solve problems and prevent problems from happening. And that's something I think we provide more than other contractors do around the States is, each job has somewhat of a supervisor, I'd say. And like you said, some guys that are never ran one before and they're just getting started, if they have an issue, they have somebody there to help them solve the problem or answer their question right away instead of being hours away from somebody.
Yeah, no, I think having a crew leader on each job is a huge asset for us to help us to keep the job running smoothly and to keep the operators running everything smoothly. And if they have any problems, any breakdowns, the crew leader or the mechanic can help them out right away.
And it kind of goes off experience and talent, really, on how we decide that. And really, you go from operator to, you're the lead chopper guy, lead pack guy. Then next thing you know, you become crew leader. And then you're in the management system now. And then, as we all know, the higher you go up on the totem pole, there's more money involved. And that's something a lot of guys need to strive for. Strive for more responsibility and so on and so forth, really. And sometimes it's not for the guys. It's understand that you guys have lives at home. Same with you guys. You all have stuff going on in your hometowns, and your own career path, and that's just kind of trying to find the way to motivate them to come back is the challenge on our end.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Just thinking of three crew leaders now that, you know, Irish guys that been here for probably chopping about 2 or 3 years, and now they're here as crew leaders and doing a hang of a good job leading the crews, and I think they're enjoying it. And I mean, that would help just the company grow, and right there you can grow a lot faster, a lot easier when you do have returning employees.
Oh, well, my name is Jacob Badrick. I'm from a small village called Street near Mullingar in Westmeath. Come from a small farming background, we used to run about 50 suckler cows. We're down to 20 now. Just the old pair aren't able to keep going while I'm off on holidays over here. I work with a contractor there as well in Street, do 2,500, 3,000 acres of silage and about 1,500 acres of arable as well. Spread a lot of fertiliser and do everything really. I run my own little thing as well. I do a bit of hedge cutting in the winter, so that keeps me occupied while I'm away from here, I suppose. I started at home, sure, as every young fella does, I suppose, at the age of 14 or however young, you know, doing a bit of topping around the farm or rolling or drawing a few bales, trying not to burst them all. As soon as I got the licence then, I was straight in with the local contractor who always did our contracting at home, doing round bale silage and slurry, and did a lot of piping back in the day and all that kind of thing. I was with him for 3 years, and then I went to Ken Butler at home, and I was with him on and off the last 4 or 5 years, driving the harvester for him and drawing silage and spread a lot of bulk fertiliser as well. So I was always busy ever since I could drive, I was driving any chance I did. I suppose that leaded me to out here. Once I was had done everything I could at home, I said I'd travel, and I decided I'd come here. And I was here last year just operating a chopper, and I got on well last year, so I said I'd come back this year, and I got put on to doing this job here, which is kind of overseeing the crews running out in the field, so keeping everything running so the operations manager doesn't have to be running around like a headless chicken after a sod. I don't want to speak for anyone else really, but for me, you know, where else would you see up to 990s running in the same field, you know? For me, that was the main draw. That was the main thing, you know, coming out for the experience of it all, and then I suppose the money part of it too helps. The visa we're on, it's all untaxed. So everything you make, you get to keep, which is brilliant. And especially now, since I suppose at home the tax and everything has gone up through the roof, it's definitely nice coming home. It's definitely nice coming home after a few months of hard work, and sure, you have a bit of coin built up behind you, you know. From being here last year, as much as I was only driving the chopper, you kind of saw the running behind of it all, you know. You know, going from that to this year, you kind of take what you saw last year and you bring it with you this year, you know. So you see a lot more behind the scenes, and you're in a lot more contact with the boss and that kind of thing. But around this area here, where we're only 50, 60 miles from the shop, it's a lot easier control everything because you're in running distance. If you need parts, they can be brought out. If you know you need more trucks, they can be sent, you know, and all that kind of thing. Whereas it gets a lot harder. I will say it gets a lot harder the further away you go. Like, you know, we can work over 500 miles from the shop. I was down the east side of Dallas there for a couple of months, and you know, over there's no say from, you know, the likes of the operations manager Scott. Everything's left up to me. What we do, where we go, how dry or wet we harvest the crop, how we get the diesel to the field, you know, everything then is my responsibility. So that was a big learning curve the first time I did that. You pick up everything fairly fast, I suppose, so it's not too bad that way, you know. No, the Class is a pretty good machine all around. You won't beat the Class orbital head for corn. Like, we had a few John Deeres last year and they couldn't keep up to the Class. The one thing I'll say about Class is their pickup heads, their grass heads. With the 990s and the big crops we have, you can't use all the 990s horsepower. You can only use about 60% before the clutches on the head go out. So I think the Kemper's a step ahead that way. But again, you know, I hear Class are trying to upgrade it. Like, I had a prototype head last year and it had a new oil bath camshaft, and different time bars and all that kind of thing. So the class are trying new stuff, and if class is trying something new, it'll be tried out here, you know, because between the dust and the acres and everything, it's hard now. Like, I know everyone sees a nice, you know, flat landscape, but like at home, mower beds aren't locking up with dust, knives aren't being worn out by sand. Like, when you're cutting wheat, the row is full of sand out here because, you know, we're that far out west. It's nearly a desert out here, you know? And then too, on the irrigation, like here, you could have 25-ton crop of wheat, and you'd never see a row that big at home. Like today, it was 40-odd degrees. You know, you never get that heat at home. Like, so the engines aren't tested. Basically, the night before, say we're starting a new job, the night before, I'm given a list of trucks that's going to come with me by the truck dispatcher, and I have to send them pins to where they're going. I have to give them times of when to get there, and then once they get, and then obviously I have to organize the chopper drivers to get here too, or the mower drivers, whoever's coming out with me. Once everyone is here and the machinery is here, it's completely up to me on when we chop, you know, how early we chop, what dry matter it is, how full the loads are going out the road so the DOT doesn't pull us over like they were today. Pretty much everything that needs to be done is decided by me in one way or another, you know. So like the likes of today, it was up to me to check the KP samples, make sure the kernels are being cracked enough, up to me to make sure the headers are running at the correct height, all that kind of thing. It's only bought in crop. So the landowner here might want trucks coming in a certain way. He might not want them driving on a certain part of the field. He might want only 2 trucks following all at once, all that kind of thing. You know, it's my job to make sure he's satisfied with how we come in and cut it. When we're out of town, I'd have a lot more to do. Like here, I don't really have to go to the dairy and check the pile and that sort of thing, because there's other people to do that because we're close to the shop. But you know, when we're away from the shop, however, 500-600 miles away, I have to check everything. You know, I have to check the dry matters coming in. I have to take samples of the crop, make sure the pile's being compacted right. I think the whole running of the job is left up kind of on mine or whoever else's crew leading shoulders. You know, the operations manager points you in the right direction, and then after that, everything else is up to us.
I would probably say our hardest position to fill is probably pack tractors, pack tractor drivers. You know, when they see the choppers, everyone wants to drive a chopper, and that's just the nature of the beast. But the pack guys are very important to us, and to find those guys are hard. They got to just have the patience and build a pile and make it look nice and get a good pack on it. And not everyone wants to sit in there and drive around in a circle in a pack tractor every day. But that's probably our hardest position to fill, but probably the most important one to fill with good guys.
Yeah, it's like Scott said, right? It's the most important job for us to fill, and going in a circle all day long that is a hard thing to do, and it takes patience and attention to detail. These guys have got to be they have to pay attention to every little thing they do, from the inch to the feet. I mean, there's so many machines you guys witness going around in a circle at once, and they're just a few feet from one another. So trying not to get too complacent and keep their eyes on everything is a challenge, and that's the challenging part about fulfilling that role in the company.
And trucks coming in there.
Yeah.
When we have 10 choppers on a crew and 100 trucks coming in there, you know, everyone has to be on their A game. I mean, through the whole company, but especially not hitting trucks and just doing that.
Yeah, so we're using John Deere 9R 540s and 9R 490s with Grouser 16-foot blades. Yeah, 16-foot blades. Yeah, we got some guys that run Degelman blades, and they just, I don't know, a lot of guys like them because they're a little lighter weight and they don't bounce the tractor as much. But the Grousers are built very strong, and I like them myself.
Yeah, and they're just a little higher. The frame's a little higher up on the tractor. In wheat especially, you don't get any dragging wheat back down off the pile. With some of those other companies, the frame's so much lower, and they just drag feed back down off the pile.
I don't know how you boys wear jeans every day.
You get used to it after a while.
It's too hot for that. Well, Ben, this is completely different to what we know at home, put it that way.
Yeah.
So whereabouts in the world are we?
Hartley, Texas.
And how long have you been doing this job that you're doing now?
This is my second year here.
So obviously this time of the year, you're on the big corn harvest.
Yep,
chopping
we're doing corn, or as you guys call it, maize.
Yeah, it's hard to get used to.
Yeah, I was really confused when the guys came over first year I was here and they called it maize. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you on about?
This is corn, not maize.
Altogether then, what do you boys chop in the season?
So we do wheat. That's in the beginning of the year, springtime-ish. Milo, sometimes that's later. Sorghum. Corn, obviously. We'll do some alfalfa in between. Grass. Basically, if they want it chopped, we'll chop it. Corn, I would say, corn and sorghum are the biggest, busiest times of the year.
So how does it work with you guys then? Do you sort of move around in teams or?
Yeah, so we'll move around in crews. Like earlier I was in Missouri with a couple guys doing corn there, and then moved out here. Yeah, moved back out here and then started corn here. Did some sorghum. It all depends on the job and how many acres there are to do. But like here we're only running 3 tractors. 3 tractors right now, 3 choppers. There's a 4th tractor on its way. Yeah, you move across the county and you'll have 13 choppers, 13 tractors on one pile altogether. So it just depends how many acres you have for that job and what needs to be done.
So you do a bit of swapping and changing around?
Like I'll stay in a pack tractor all year mostly, but I'll be bouncing around to different jobs most of the time.
And how many trucks?
So at this job there is 36 trucks I think we have, and then 1 tractor and wagon.
How many choppers are you running on this job?
We got 3 choppers on this job.
So all this we're seeing today, this is all for dairy farm, is it?
Yep, this is all for this dairy farm here.
Is it mostly dairies then?
Yeah, so we mostly work for dairies, but we'll do a couple feedlots here and there too. All beef cattle, yeah.
Right.
Or we'll do a heifer yard we have in Liberal for one of the dairies we do work for.
What sort of size is this dairy we're at today then?
Oh, I'd say they have maybe 10,000 head.
Wow.
One of the smallers around here, I would say.
That small?
Around here, yeah. Like you go back home, 10,000's big, but
yeah.
Down here, I'd say it's fairly small. Yeah, the pile we're on today, it's 300 wide by 30 feet tall. And then I'd say we're a solid 200-300 feet long right now. But we'll bring it all the way out here. We have about 40,000 ton in here.
So would this be a big pile, average size pile?
We're about half done. We're putting 75,000 ton for this job. So yeah, we're about half done, but I'd say this will be about an average pile for down here. Then like I said, you get across the county, we got jobs that are putting 200,000 ton in one pile and then starting another one too.
So let's talk a bit about your tractors then.
So it's a John Deere 9R 490, 490 horse. We got a 16-foot Grouser, Ag Pro Grouser on the front of it. It's pretty positive they're manufactured in North Dakota. Yeah, they're great blades. I love them. That's all we have back home. That's all we have down here now.
So how are they mounted on the front of this machine then?
So you got a series of holes, you could say, up front. We'll bolt them. So the frame, these 2 arms that those hoses are connected to,
yeah,
them are bolted to the tractor. And then like right where it's tilting right now, you see that red handle there? That's a separate frame. So the blade, you can take the blade completely off the frame and then just run the frame all the way up. And when the frame's all the way up, it's really not farther out than the whole front of the hood of the tractor. So like you can lift it up and it'll be flush with the hood of the tractor. So there's nothing in the way or nothing.
See, we're only used to the 3-point linkage at home. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple guys that they'll do 3-point blades just because they have the tractor with the front 3 points, so they'll just get a blade for it.
Right, okay.
But not too many. These frame-mounted blades push a lot better than the 3 points.
So 490 horse, would this be considered as a large tractor for this job around here, or are you sort of the biggest?
Yeah, so these are fairly big, but like you can still get bigger. Like you'll run out of power on times on the piles, where you'll just spin or you'll bog completely down because you're trying to push too much. Like if it's real wet feed, sometimes you'll get that with the dew in the morning, but like if it's very wet, you'll have to take less.
Does that stop you on the morning, does it sometimes? Or?
Yeah, so alfalfa we'll have to hold off a little bit if we didn't cut the field fast enough. But sometimes corn, it really doesn't affect us. Wheat, it'll affect a little bit. But basically, I think anything you do with a pickup head, it'll affect you a little bit.
So what are you pushing up at a time then with one of these blades?
So each truck holds, I'd say, about 20 ton. That's about roughly 40,000 pounds. So I'd say you get maybe, you can't quite get half the load, maybe, I don't know, a couple thousand pounds, I'd say. Like, you're not getting very much. If we had a bigger tractor, we could push more, but then you got to go back to the weight too. You need more weight to push more.
Yeah. So what can you shift in a day with one of these machines then?
Yeah, so yesterday we did 6,000 tons. So with just one tractor and one chopper, I mean, 3,000 tons. Yeah, everything they chop, they got to come here and we push it all. So
I mean, obviously they say your forage is made in the pit. I mean, well, we call them pits, you call them piles.
Yep.
So it's all about compaction. So what weight would this machine be?
I'd say right around that 45 to 50,000 pound mark. We'll say 25 ton.
And you're running the wheel weights on the back, are you? Or?
Yeah, so we got two, I think they're there's 3 on each side, so that's 6 on the back. They're 1,500 kgs, I think.
I suppose you'd need the weight on the back.
Yeah, you need more weight on the back to offset the blade, so that way when you're not going down the road, you're not bouncing all over the place. You'll still have that, but it helps a little bit.
So moving jobs, would you boys drive these?
Yeah, so like around Dalhart, we'll mostly drive them because most of the jobs are fairly local. But like if we're going to, say, Kansas, they'll lowboy them. Or if they're sitting in the yard and they're just moving ahead of time, we'll lowboy them all there.
So you boys must have a method then behind this.
You could say that.
Yeah.
You could. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing.
Go on then, how do you attack a pile?
So we got them dumping on this one right to left. The other guys will just leave the end loads around. They'll leave the end loads alone because sometimes I got to take them to the sides and shape it with me. Like there's a couple of holes I need to fill in with the next end load there. So like they'll just leave that and then I'll push it by myself and then they'll push everything in between them. Team effort from there of getting everything to the top and try it leveled out the best you can. But
and you're working like a circular way?
Yeah, so when we're starting on the left side, we'll go up and turn, starting on the right side, we'll go up and turn to the left and just go around. And then when we get halfway, we'll switch directions so we're still turning to the right.
So how do these truck trailers work then? Are they hydraulic back doors or?
Yeah, so most of the back doors we have are barn doors, so they'll just open when the chains push them. But then the driver's got to get out and close them. But some, we have lift end gates like that tractor and wagon right there that are hydraulic.
So where's home for you then?
That would be Jefferson, Wisconsin.
Right.
Just north up by Canada.
What brought you down these parts then?
I saw it on Facebook and I worked for my grandpa and uncle's dairy farm back home and I don't know, I just love operating equipment. There wasn't enough for that up there, so I came down here to try it and haven't left since.
Now you can't get away?
No.
So you have a good team here then, you all get along?
Yeah, it's really, some days you hate each other, but then the next day is your best friends.
Yeah, you get that.
Yeah, everywhere. And then the winter makes up for all of it.
Yeah.
There's like a total of 10 guys here. We all get along.
Oh, really?
Great. Yeah. It's so peaceful.
So what would you boys be doing through the winter then? I suppose just maintenance and stuff? Or?
Yeah, so we have full-time mechanics that do that, and then us operators and crew leaders will run equipment. Like we'll be spreading manure. Sometimes if we get enough snow, we'll go out and pack tractors and plow snow.
Right, so all year round you're operating kit then, really?
Yeah. So yeah, we got manure spreading, and then we got some baling that we do too, corn stalks. That really isn't a big job. Most of the time it's one baler and kind of just one person, maybe 2 or 3. But.
So have you always been John Deere man then, or?
Yeah, so back home we have mostly Deere, and then we have a couple Klosses. Like our chopper is a Kloss, and then we got a Xerion too. And then we had a 1050. I absolutely love those 1050s. I love Fendt tractors, but for pushing, I think Deere's the way to go.
So KB, have they always ran John Deere's on the piles, or?
Yeah, so I think when we first started, they had a couple Challenger tractors, and then mostly deer, I think, yeah. Yeah, most of the time you'll see deer everywhere just because of their dealer support around here. Like everywhere you go has a deer dealership. Like Westerns are down here, and they're good to us. They can keep us tractors and everything.
I can't believe how many trucks are on one job.
Yeah, 36.
It's just like you go to the field and it's just flooded with trucks.
Right,
It's
right.
like- so all the trailers the same size then, would they be? Or
So I think all of them are roughly around that 36, 38 mark. There's a couple 40s I've seen. They're not too different.
obviously everything's weighed in then?
Yep, so you'll get when the trucks come in the morning, they'll get an empty weight, and then they'll weigh every load. And then it depends on the dairy, but some of the places will only let us, or they're fine with one empty load or empty weight a day, whereas other places you gotta weigh out empty every day.
They'd be reliable enough, wouldn't they, these tractors?
Yeah, they fairly are. Sometimes it's just dumb little stuff that breaks. Yeah, we don't really have big issues. We try to get rid of the tractors before you have the big mechanical issues.
So how long would you run one of these machines for then?
So we'll have the tractors we like to trade them off 2,000 hour mark. So that's 2 seasons.
It's nothing really, is it?
No, it isn't. Try to keep up to date with the equipment. So like I said, we don't have big mechanical issues.
By the time you got used to one, it's time to change.
Yeah, so they'll do 2 seasons here, and then most of the time they're gone. We got a couple tractors that are getting traded this year, but they're 2,600 hours, and them are the oldest we have.
So how would you boys go about, coming to this job?
Yep.
First day, how would you start off the pile then?
Alright, so when we're starting off a pile, as wide as they want it, say they want it 300 feet wide, we'll have trucks dump all 300 feet wide, and then the pile builder, he'll get on and start shaping it. He'll spread it across, try to make the back nice and steep, fill in the sides, fill in the top, just push it around basically until you have a nice little pile start.
The farmer chooses the size before you even start then?
Yep, yeah, so most of the time they'll choose the size, or they'll come to the pile builder and say, hey, I got 75,000 ton that need to go in here, what do you think?
Yeah.
But most of the time they'll have it
all worked out.
What they want.
But that saves you a bit of a headache.
Yeah, it
trying to
definitely
figure it
does.
out on your calculator.
Right, because then when you cut to the end and it won't all fit, you can't blame it on you. Like, hey,
yeah, you can't run away at that point,
I
can
just
you?
did what you told me, dude.
Can't hide. So would you spend a bit of time rolling at the end of the job then, or?
Yeah, so every night we'll do a final pack once we have it done pushed. Most of the time we'll go across the pile, try to spread it out as best we can, and then we'll come back and half track it across. So when we say half track, we'll do one dual, and then the guy behind me, he'll go to where my dual skips.
Right, yes.
And we'll just half track it on down. For this pile, it's fairly narrow up top, so we'll grab the sidewall angle and we'll just go straight up, turn around, keep doing that in a big loop, and then when we get to this end, we'll come up across this side just to cover our turn marks.
We're going as what Kyle's going, and I don't know how big Kyle will get, or I guess it depends on how big the dairies get around here. So at least myself, I guess we're here for the ride and see what the future brings. But the main thing I would really like to see is our Mexican truck drivers there just continuous keep coming back, and that would make this company a lot better if we get a lot of operators to keep coming back. And they don't have to come back for 10 years, but if they come back for 2 or 3 years and grow with the company. And we have a lot of operators that do that too, and you can send them a pin to the field or know, hey, we're going to this farm. They're already there. You don't have to then send everything, all the information, and that's what make Blake and myself job a lot easier.
When I first started here, there was only I think it was 4 or 5 machines at the time, and back in the day, there was not a lot of dairy growth in the area when I was here, and honestly, it was just one of those deals where the dairies just went expanding, and it was either grow with them or somebody else is going to grow with them.
Once you're in agriculture, you can't get it out of your blood, with its animals or equipment. And I think that's just this drive of what keeps me going in it.
There's something about knowing harvesting 1,000 acres a day just kind of gets the blood going a little bit. So it's very exciting. You know, I've always said it's a hell of a ride that I've been on throughout this company, and the fun part is it's not even over yet. It's really just starting. Like, I mean, the ride of this adventure I'm on is just beginning, and yeah, I never thought we'd have this many machines, this many pack tractors, this many swathers, trucks. It's unbelievable, and to be honest with you, there's no telling where we're gonna go, but I can tell you we're not finished yet.